If you don't let go, you cannot be a seeker. Think about that for a moment. When you cling to something, a relationship, a tendency, a thought pattern, a habit, a person who's become a habit for you, or even an incomplete version of yourself, you're anchoring yourself to the unknown, the familiar, and the habitual. You're saying, this is enough. This is it. This is for now, even when your heart whispers, there's more, or there could be more. You won't find out until you decide to be a seeker. Being a seeker means releasing what holds you back or what seems not the right or complete fit for you and searching for who and what you don't yet know. Maybe you don't yet know real love, even if you're married or have been married. Maybe you don't yet know what having big money feels like because you've always had dreams that were a bit too small. Maybe you haven't met your best friend because you haven't really sought out the unfamiliar crowds. With God, you're able to trust the journey of seeking. A very young boy named Nachiketa is known as the first significant seeker in Hinduism. His myth is featured in the Upanishads, and boy is it something. Pun intended. Nachiketa finds himself at Mr. Death's doorstep, and he doesn't flinch. By Mr. Death, I'm referring to the famous god of death in Hinduism known as Yama. The young boy accepts the reality he is confronted with, the one that tells him he is near death. And he uses that opportunity to be a seeker of the most mysterious and unknown spiritual knowledge, the kind of knowledge that I provide in my book, Who God Really Is, which you'll find on Amazon. Yama tests Nachiketa by offering him wealth, power, and worldly pleasures, other worldly pleasures, when he sends him back to the earth. That's what he promises this young boy. When I send you back to earth, I'll give you all of these pleasures, luxury, power. I'll give it all to you. He just wants the boy to stay silent about that deeply mysterious knowledge and really not to seek even more of it. But Nachiketa refuses. He presses Yama for more. He's not afraid to let go of distractions, familiarity, and promises of luxury or comfort. What's especially remarkable about Nachiketa is that he doesn't show any fear when he's confronted with the unknown. In fact, he seeks the unknown. Nachiketa's story reflects to us our reality or very real human experiences. And I'll have the full story for you this week. So, follow this podcast, stay tuned for it. When we fear letting go, we signal that we're afraid. We're afraid of what's ahead, and we're afraid of becoming seekers ourselves. We cling to what we know, even when it's unfulfilling, because it feels safer than the void of the unknown or the potentiality of impossibilities, the potential for what turns out to be impossible. And nowhere is this more real, more raw than in relationships that no longer light up our souls. Think about a relationship in your life, maybe one you're in now or one you've left behind. It's tough, isn't it? Like you stay because it's familiar, or maybe you stayed for a while because it was familiar. You know, or you knew the rhythms, the fights, the silences, the habits. And you tell yourself in that situation, maybe it'll get better, or this is just how it is. But deep down, you feel it, a quiet ache, a sense that this isn't where you're meant to be, a sense that something isn't right about this relationship. That relationship, whether it's romantic, platonic, professional, familiar, is like a worn-out coat. It might keep you warm, but it's frayed, heavy, and holding you back from stepping into the fullness of who you are and complete comfort. Here's where Nachiketa's courage speaks to us. Even in the face of authority, he pressed on. He pressed on for what he knew was right or what he wanted to know, what he wanted, the unknown that he wanted to become known to him. And he didn't stay in his father's house accepting half-hearted sacrifices or very, I would say, uncomfortable observations. He didn't cling to the comfort of his old life despite being so young. When he was forced to look toward death itself, Nachiketa eagerly sought the answers that only Yama could give. Yama tempted him again with riches and pleasures. He let go of those too. Why? Because he knew that truth, real soul-deep truth, was worth more than temporary comfort. It's the kind of truth that I define in my book, Who God Really Is, as being permanent, infallible, and unchangeable. And it's the kind of truth that actually many people run away from or are hiding from when they are in questionable and or uncomfortable, unfulfilling relationships, when they keep staying. Again, in the same way, leaving an unfulfilling relationship isn't just about, or I should say, so in the same way, right? Like what Nachiketa does, which is that he seeks out the truth no matter the obstacle. Leaving an unfulfilling relationship isn't really just about walking away from a person. It's about letting go of a version of yourself that is causing you to make unwise and dishonest, unfulfilling decisions that are going to they're going to do you wrong. Nachiketa didn't want to do wrong to himself. He wanted to do right, not only to him by himself and by his father. Now, his father didn't listen, but when Nachiketa had the opportunity to keep seeking truth, he chose the right route rather than even the temptations that the god of death tried to sell to him. So he was willing to let go of that earthly version of himself, because in order to find the knowledge that would help him make even more wise decisions in the future. So in the same way, when you're letting go or walking away from a relationship that's not really good for you, it's just not healthy for you, you're not just walking away from a person, you're letting go of some part of like a side of you, a version of yourself that has been causing you to make unwise and dishonest decisions. You're seeking more wisdom. A version that is holding you back, from real possibilities as well, optimistic ones. That's the version you're walking away from. Now, I know what you're thinking. Letting go is terrifying, Sonika, sometimes, these are the kinds of questions you ask yourself. What if I'm going to be alone or unsupported? What if I regret it? What if what I have now cannot be replaced with someone or something better because that quote unquote better dream or hope is just not out there for me? But here's the thing. These questions don't totally signal that you're in a fragile state of mind. They are telling you that you're on the edge of something big, a shift, simply because you have started to ponder the what ifs, the unknown. You're on the precipice of becoming a seeker. Will you make it? Will you make it? And how do you do it? How do you become a seeker like Nachiketa? First, listen to that quiet voice inside you, the one that has picked up on what is right or wrong or not the best for you via simple observations about your situation. That inner voice with its observations is there, even if it's been drowned out by doubt, overthinking, and routine. Second, write those observations down. Third, take one step. It doesn't have to be a huge one. Maybe it's a conversation with a support resource. Maybe it's learning how to set a boundary, or simply deciding, I deserve better. Each step is you claiming your role as a seeker of something or someone better, or more suitable for you. Nachiketa chose to be a seeker, to trust that the truth he sought would be worth the journey he took and the sacrifice he made. And when you choose to leave a relationship that's draining your spirit or taxing your mental health, you're not just letting go of someone else. You're choosing to realize that you have options that are waiting for you to arrive, waiting for you to seek them out. You cannot gain anything worth having in life without first becoming a dedicated seeker of it. Okay? That's all for today's episode of Naked Hindu Tales. If you enjoyed this reflection, do leave a review on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. Check out all of my books on Amazon.com and ask me any spiritual or non-spiritual question in your reviews or comments. I'll be sure to answer your question in a future episode for the benefit of all. Thanks for listening, and I'll speak with you in the next episode.